Hello, this is David. Bringing you my list, which I've used to make top 8 in Swagkage's Master Duel launch event. Yeah, that's just start with this. So I've run 14 Prankids, so 3 of other Prankids, besides Roxy's, I just ran 2, and 3 places. Didn't run the terraforming, didn't feel like it, also known as didn't have it. That's pretty much the reason. Also, there is no mine, another reason not to run Terra, and I don't feel like the poly version is as strong with fusion recycling plant, so again, another reason not to run terraforming. Played 2 DD Crows, hits Drytron, not as hard as it does in the TCG, since, you know, 3 Benton, but still. It also hits Eldritch, which I didn't face, and it's strike out to some extent, so I felt like it was fine. Played 1 Veiler, 1 Imperm, because I have 1 of each. I suck. Veiler is a little bit better with pranks, while Imperm is, you know, like, you draw it as a 6th card, it's not bad. 3 Maxi, also known as the best card in the game. 3 Ash, because yes. No Nib, because I feel like people just stop at Maxi regardless. And especially for this event, like, I was like, people are just gonna stop, they're afraid of Maxi, so I don't need to run the 1 nib. In the future, I would run 1 nib, you know, because it makes the Maxi much more valuable when people decide to, you know, go into it. As for spells, put 1 Monster River, and just makes you play through Ash. The fact that you can feel the Ash delay is pretty important. So you know when you have to, like, go for this. I played 3 Desires, best card in the deck. You start with Desires most of the times to beat an Ash. Played 1 TD Fusion for, you know, playing into knee purposes. 1 Lightning Storm, 1 Twin Twisters because Eldritch is a thing. And best of 1 for Lamau. 2 Pranks, because yes, I'm afraid of Jesus, I don't wanna banish this. So I ended up running 2, which I feel like is fine. 1 Cold because I only had 1. some very field-based ratio, you know, like 1 Cold by 1 Impermanent, and like stuff like that. 3 Pandemonium again because I fear Jesus, I don't want to banish this. Play 2 Droplets, don't have 3, feel like it wasn't needed anyways. And then triple Skill Drain because yes, it's a pretty good card, I thought. As for extra deck, 1 Rocket Ride, 1 Water Washer and 1 Butler. I couldn't fit the space for 2nd Butler. Again, also known as I didn't have it. The Rip Roaring spot should be a 2nd Butler. But yeah, I'll explain why Rip Roaring was there afterwards. 1 Toad, this card is quite nice. I did summon it quite a bit. It also works under Skill Drain, so a plus for it. Link Spider, Link Oribo. Link Oribo could be the 2nd Link Spider. I feel like this is a little bit more optimal since weird interactions can come up. They are here for Verte, because when your opponent nibs you, you just like play into it. You can feel the delay after you summon off of Fancies, since Fancies normally wants to be the 2nd monster you go for. So like you're chilling 1 Fancies, chilling 2 Doodle, and you decide to summon off of Fancies, and you feel a delay that wasn't there before. You're like, okay, it's nib. So instead of going for example, a Pandemonium combo, you just like keep linking your stuff until you go through every single Prankids, and then you Wobark. And if they nib you, just go Pranks, summon a token, summon the Link Spider with the Nibiru token, summon the Link Oribo with the Pranks token, or the 2nd Link Spider if you don't have this, which is fine. And then you just make Verte and send it under Dragon Fusion. Never really came up for me because the one time I got nibbed, I hard rooted under Dragon Fusion. So yeah, just make sure to have like all the materials in graveyard. If they nib you immediately, you are probably passing. But if you feel like you're playing against a nib deck, instead of sending like for example a fusion of a Fancies, you can send like a third material that you didn't have and search Pranks instead of Pandemonium. But then again, that's mostly a proactive play and really depends on like how hard, you know, you feel the nib is coming. and how hard it's like gonna hit you. Like for example, if they nib you and you have skill drain, you're like, okay, sure, fuck it. Like I'm gonna take the nib every day of the week since, you know, I have skill drain, so I'm fine with it. But if you're not fine with it, then yeah, you might have to go for like place like that. Two Meow, because I had to make room for everything I was playing. Never really needed the third one. Two Doodle, same reason, never really need the third one. I shuffled them back off pranks anyways. One Obark, if you play two you're wrong. Don't need more than one. Unicorn because it's the best bridge for Axe Code, which is just, you know, Axe Code. And Reaper Ring Roster because I'm just dumb. So let's explain the reason why this is here. So the tournament was an open list tournament at the start, so like you could see what your opponent was running. But like 30 minutes before the tournament, it didn't like cross my mind that they would just like hide the deck lists at that point, and I didn't save them. So my idea of being like, oh, I can just see what my opponent is playing, and if they're playing a backer deck, I just summon is going first. Went to shit, so I just never did it. I never faced the backer deck. I would have faced one in top 4 if I did win top 8, but I didn't, so yeah. As for matchups, I did face quite a lot of different decks. Faced Striker round 1, whatever, it's a buy. Cybers, I don't know how it got to 1-0, probably got a DQ win, that is pretty bad. Faced Hero at round 3. Just max-seed them, they couldn't do anything. Faced Arabic and Malfi. This is a pretty good matchup for Prankids. You don't really care about Tri-Brigade, and the Malfi part, it does stall you for like a few turns, but if you just manage to like summon the Butler, you can just destroy every Malfi and, you know, just win the game from there. Faced Adamantipator, which I was quite scared of. And I drew Crow as my hand trap, and I was like, damn, like, I'm not winning this. Because Crow doesn't really hit the deck. But then he just went Adamantipator Science, and I just, you know, Crowed him, and he, like, didn't do anything, and I was like, okay. I win, I guess. Yeah, I had a Butler, but like that I can't play through Butler. It's not really a problem for them, you know, like, if they draw the Block Dragon and an Extender, they just win. They didn't, luckily, so yeah, it was fine. Because again, their extender was Science, and Grow dealt with that, so yeah. Faced another Striker in round 6, and they ashed my place, so they didn't know how to play the matchup. And I won. Then tournament was supposed to be an 8th round event, but Challenge decided to be Challenge. So they had to cut it to 6. They cut to top 28 with the 4 EXO players getting a bye. I was one of them, luckily, because like my tiebreak was quite bad. As you can tell from the matchups I faced, my opponents didn't really go on to have the best of tournaments, so my tiebreak was quite bad. If I did lose the last 2 rounds, I would have likely not made it in. But I decided to go for top 20 anyways, so yay! Top 16 for free. So I got to top 16, faced Virtual World. Didn't know it was Virtual World, and like game 1 is scooped after I did my plays, so I still didn't know it was Virtual World. And game 2 I just drew Max C, so you know, card happens to be pretty good, I've been told. Top 8 was the right run, I faced Clarence. Game 1 I went first, I felt pretty confident with it. Then I just got Maxine, I had no answer for it, so I just passed and destroyed me. Game 2 I went first, he had no answer to anything, and I just like, full comboed him, and I just, you know, scooped. Didn't feel like playing it because it's Prankids. If you play it, you're likely going to time, you don't want that to happen. So it was smart of him to scoop. Game 3, I drew Crow Imperman. I was like, okay, there is no way he combos. So he didn't. Spoilers, but he maxed me, so I lost because I had a full monster hand at that point. And I had to half-fast something because he had Moonbait on the field. And I had to out it because if he just like goes battle with Mobita and makes those, I lose anyways. I have a full monster hand. So it was like, okay, I have to like Roxas draw, summon, make Doodle, and like run over the Mobita. It lost 500 attack into place. But by doing so, I gave him 2 draws, and I think he had a orange light in hand, and he drew a fairy off of the draws. So like when he went for his plays on a turn later, and I still like managed to end up on Butler. He went for his plays, but like the Butler wasn't as effective because, you know, orange light. So I only had effectively 1 pop instead of 2, and he just went from there. So that's pretty much it. Going forward, would I change the list? Yes, I don't have the cards, but when I do get them, I will change the list. Deck was fine for the purposes of best of 1. For best of 3, I would obviously change it up both in main deck and side deck, but that's something for the future. So that's it for me. Thank you for watching, and see ya.